So, welcome, Tomb of Annihilation. You're gonna die, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Well, we might enjoy it too. You don't know how masochistic we are.
I mean, that's fair. Right.
Got him.
So, just a bit of background for the world we're in. For the past several days, the talk on the streets and taverns has been about a so-called death curse, a wasting disease affecting anyone that's ever been raised from the dead. The victims grow thinner, weaker, and each day they slowly and steadily slide towards death. When they finally succumb, they cannot be re-raised, by any means, as it seems. Miracle workers, temple clerics, divine magics across the world have failed to figure out what this curse is or how to fix it. And at the moment, we know it's affecting at least this region, if not the entire world. In this instance, adventurers have been invited to the home of Sindra Sylvain, a retired adventurer and merchant. And at this point, I'd like to ask Wrenn, please introduce yourself and a brief description of your character.
Well, hello there. I'm Wrenn Varnuiku, and I'm just a wee little halfling. So Wrenn is just a nice little halfling. He's got tall white hair with white brows, tan skin. He's got blue eyes. He's kind of skinny, but he's toned from years and years of training. And because he's so young, his sideburns are only just growing in at the top.
At the start of this campaign, we are going to have you, Wrenn, wandering the streets of a small town in the almost nowhere. You're following a map that you've been given by a guild. They've told you where the home of Sindra Sylvain is. At this point, you walk up to the door, and over to you.
Okay, so I'm going to walk up to the door, and being quite a short little man, I'm going to have to reach quite a way up to make a decent sized knock. So I'm going to knock on the door.
Okay, a couple of moments pass, and a tall man, thin but well kept, in a full uniform, opens the door and says, hello, you must be one of the people we're waiting on. Please, could I have your name?
Hello there. I'm Wrenn Varnuiku. Would you be Sindra Sylvain?
No, thankfully not in this instance, though we'll see to that shortly. If you'd like to follow me. And he leads you inside this grand house. A couple of corridors pass you by, a couple of rooms, closed doors, dark wood paneling across the walls, shields and swords of great fine elegance, carved and obviously collected over years and years. He leads you just a little way down, past a couple of doors, and into a small sitting area, within which we find Fenro. Please introduce yourself and a brief description of your character.
Hello, I'm Fenro. I'm a Furbolg. My hair is black, it's all scruffy like, and I've got a nice big beard. I'm also wearing a nice bright green suit for the occasion. I'm here because things are dying, and I don't like that. Especially nature. Nice to meet you. What's your name? And I stick my hand out towards the little child kid that's in front of me.
Okay, so I look at you in just awe at first. My mouth is agape, chin on the floor. I've never seen such a massive being in all my life. And as soon as I kind of come to, I step right up to you, and a little bit too close, within a foot of your space, and I just reach my hand straight up to try and shake yours. And I go, "My, you're a tall one, aren't you? The name's Wrenn Varnuiku." And I grab like a baby grabbing at a hand. I grab just your finger to shake your hand.
As you do that, I'm gonna kneel down and with both my hands, I'm gonna cover yours and very gently shake it and say, I get that a lot. I am quite tall, but for my kind, I am normal height. But to you, I suppose I am quite tall indeed, yes. Then I'm gonna stand back up, not just so I don't hit my head on the ceiling, and then look around.
So could I ask, Zach, so how have we received this invitation to come here? So obviously, I believe we all found a notice or whatever.
You'd have all found this notice, or especially you two will have found this notice while looking, obviously yourself looking for work and methods to explore, and Fenro while finding out about what's happening in the vicinity, as he's also been seeing this while out and about. You'll have both been found this notice and will probably have gone to the appropriate guild of the area, who will have then pointed you to this small settlement and this grand home sat within the centre of it. You'll have been given effectively just a name, the basics of your meeting Syndra Sylvain, and their aim is to stop this new curse, and that they're looking for able-bodied adventurers. And then, obviously, when you accept, the address will be given, a general direction from where you are, and off you'll have gone.
Okay, wicked sick.
Right, at this point, I would like to ask the other two characters to please
Hi.
change your names.
Sure thing. Which one's mine again?
You're the D.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
While this conversation is going on, the attendant that led you in here has, obviously partway through the conversation, sort of bowed out. And at this point, you hear a sharp rap on the front door once again, and the attendant leaves. You hear just a couple of muffled voices from down what is essentially a very large corridor. You only saw a couple of doors, but the rooms inside must have been reasonably big. But again, you hear this rap, muffled voices, a few more sets of feet, and the door close. And led by this attendant, flanked on either side, are our final two characters. Please, introduce yourselves in alphabetical order.
Ha!
Alright. I'm Dingo. I'm a half-orc barbarian. I'm like 6'5". He's 6'5". I'm 7 foot. I'm towering above him, but we look very similar. I've got like greyish skin, small tusks, like bits of fur around my neck, like braces on my wrists, and like tribal tattoos all along my arms. You kind of notice one on the palm of my hand. I've got like braided hair, a fuck off great axe on my back with some javelins, hand axes on my side. I look fucking hench. And there's this guy.
Yeah. Dingo, also half orc. I know, shock horror.
I'm Dingo, you're Dingo.
Oh shit, yeah, I'm Dingo!
You called dibs on Dingo. You specifically said you wanted Dingo.
Shut up, Dingo, alright? Fuck off. Anyway, I am Dingo. As you can see, I look rather similar to my brother. Greyish skin, small protruding tusks. Only I am slightly smaller in both height and stature, just like a shrunk down a bit version of him. Mostly cloaked, leaning a little bit on a wooden quarterstaff, which I carry with me. And can't see much of me apart from a tattoo on the back of my head.
So once again, two huge half-orcs have walked in behind the attendant, seemingly dwarfing this poor normal man, who is not shaken, but looking at the size of the people in the room, he seems to almost shrink in his stature just a little bit. But yeah, so you're now all in the room.
I'm gonna rush up to whoever's on the left first. I'm assuming we'll just go Bingo on the left, Dingo on the right.
Indeed.
And I rush up to Bingo, and similarly, as I did to Fenro, I reach my hand in the air and I go, "Hello there, Wrenn Varnuiku. Nice to meet you." And before even giving you a chance to respond, I'm just going to move straight onto Dingo and do exactly the same and just go, hello there, Wrenn Varnuiku. Nice to meet you.
Charmed.
I'll look over at Dingo and just give him an eye and be like, this isn't what the fuck we're here for.
I don't think so, no.
I'm gonna walk up to one of them and I'll be like, I see you're half orc. What's the other half?
Not orc.
Fucking hell. That's a big boy. Alright. And I extend my hand out. Not for a handshake, for that kind of like bro style. You grab each other's hand and give it like a yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna basically mimic exactly what he does to me.
I'm gonna just, once they're done, kind of sigh and then offer a normal handshake.
So are you the rest of our party that we're looking for? Or is anybody else coming tonight?
I don't know.
We're here for Syndra. That's all.
You hear a quiet cough from the corner as the now visibly hunched over, very concerned man sort of just coughs and goes, yes, I believe that's everyone we have been informed about. Yep, you're the four. Right. If you're ready, follow me. Though I would say, before we get there, that our Lady Syndra is very, very unwell. You'll see when you get into the room that there's somewhere to sit down and listen to the tale, but please, I wouldn't approach her if that's at all possible.
Kind of taking on what you've said, but also for the moment time being, taking it with a pinch of salt and just, I'm gonna kind of like racingly try and make sure that I'm like the first behind you.
Yep, so seeing you all sort of acknowledge what he said, he will walk out the door and beckon for you to follow him. And just a general marching order then, Wrenn, I assume you'll be hot on his heels.
Yeah.
Oh
me
mate,
and
I've basically climbed on his back at this point.
me and Bingo will follow behind, walking like shoulder to kind of halfway up his arm.
Red, if you wanna piggyback, I'm happy to be of assistance. It'd be no trouble at all.
I kind of look around the house and I'm like, well, as big as the house is, you're a much bigger lad. I'm not too sure I'd be too safe right now, but maybe when we get outside, I'll take you up on that one.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about hitting the roof. Sorry.
So, the attendant starts walking down, even further down this corridor now, and into a giant sort of reception area. A large, dark wood sweeping balcony is before you, and he leads you straight up the stairs into a large wood-panelled room with a fireplace. Comfortable chairs have been arranged in a semicircle around a small coffee table, upon which there are half a dozen goblets, several bottles of wine. And as you look around, you see that the room is filled, top to bottom on all sides, with books, charts, maps, and again, the same sort of ornamental weapons and shields. In the corner, there's a suit of armor. Clearly of no use to anyone, it's there simply just for looks, but the room you see is somewhere that an adventurer would have hubbed. They'd have sat there and planned out their next adventure into the world, wondering what they'd have done. The attendant sort of points to the chairs and says, please, help yourselves. And once you've all sat down, sort of steps back and just to the sort of the corner of the room in case he's needed. Sitting opposite you, turned slightly away towards the fireplace, is a large overstuffed chair, within which is sat what only looks like a bundle of blankets at first. Looking a little closer, you can see a small silver mask in the center of it. As a result, you can't really determine who he, she, or they may be, but at this point you've been assured that it is their Lady Syndra. And you can see clearly that just from the way they've bundled her up there, that she's absolutely not well. From within there, you hear very faintly, almost to the point where you can't really hear it, a soft voice just say, help yourselves to the wine, and please sit down, my friends, if I may call you that.
Why, thank you. I will. I will help myself. Thank you.
I've downed the wine already. Picked one.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down and kind of, take the bottle I assume that Bingo has out of his hand and hand him a goblet.
Ugh.
Have some fucking class.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump up, and I'm pretty keen, but I've never drunk wine before, so I'm going into it, and I think I'm gonna smell it at first and be like, kind of hold it away from me for a second, just like did not like what I smelt, and then just upon sipping it, just have to neck the glass, but I'm just doing it like trying to be polite as to not waste any, but I really am not a fan.
As you neck it, in the hopes just to hold the class in the room, you hear a very faint click come from the chair. And in front of you specifically, a bottle of water. Almost identical to the bottles of wine, but this time obviously clear and just the water inside it seems to materialize itself on the table. And again, that very faint voice just, sorry, I'd not thought of the guests we might have. Please, if this is better.
In kind of like an embarrassed manner, I'm gonna say like I'll be like, oh no, it's quite all right, but I'm still gonna take the water even though I'm saying no.
Please get the taste away.
Right, now that we're somewhat more seated. I assume, well, at least two of you will have read my notice, and as for you two, you've clearly got your father's heritage. I assume he's had this same affliction that I have. Curse.
Unfortunately, yes.
You look similarly fucked.
I'd call that an accurate description, unfortunately. Yes. It's been the talk of the towns, apparently, recently, though I've not left. The curse has obviously struck me and your father. I don't know how much longer I'll last, realistically, before I go. I've had several clerics come to offer to help, and they've tried their best, but nothing seems really to be working. I've pulled every string I've had from the years of adventuring and assistance and what I've done over the years, and I've learned effectively nothing, but there's a few tidbits that mean that I can at least ask yourselves what we might be able to do. I've learned the cause of this curse is a necromantic artifact we're calling the Soulmonger. According to the sources, it's somewhere in a land, well, distant from here, called Chult. You've probably never heard of it, unfortunately, but it's
Dingo, write that down.
It's a distant land. It's honestly beautiful the first time you see it. Small peninsula, ringed with mountains, choked with forest. The wildlife there is somewhat exotic, as are unfortunately the threats. Enormous reptiles, goblins, armies of undead are the recent problem I've been hearing about. Mapping the area has been, well, quite frankly, impossible for those that haven't been there. I've been there a few times myself, but, well, this curse has taken a lot from all of us. And unfortunately, my memory is not quite what it used to be. I've worked through every chart, every dialogue, every journal and map I have. And I've managed to string something together for you to at least start with. And once again, the attendant steps from the side, holding a small leather tube, and places it neatly on the table in front of the four of you.
I'm going to go and pick that up and look at it.
Opening the lid, you find it to be a small map inside. and you all receive this. What you're effectively given is a crude but artistically done map of Chult. This is, well, she would tell you, this is all the mapped area that they've really come to know with any detail, and assures you that even with the most basic map skills, you can sort of fill it out as you go. And to have a map of Chult at all, you are warned, is an extraordinarily rare feat. She's possibly the only one that could make this map, having been there before. But again, with a limited memory, she couldn't quite get the complete map that many adventurers would insist on having to start this.
Where are we?
Not on this map.
We're not here yet.
Yeah, but like, which direction would we be?
As you say that, you hear a small chuckle and a spluttering cough from under the blanket. And the attendant rushes over quickly just to check on her, make sure she's all right. And she goes, "No, it's fine, it's fine. Yes, I should warn you now that this is going to be a dangerous adventure. But apart from that, you will start near the northern tip of this place. You'll see a small peninsula there. If everyone's prepared and ready, I can teleport us there and we can get started. I obviously won't be joining you. In my state, I'm not good for much at all. But I do know a notable merchant prince there, who will house me and may even be able to help yourselves."
Are you sure you're even up to the task of teleporting us there?
Oh, don't worry about that. While my body and parts of my distant memory are perhaps a little out of touch, I keep up with my abilities.
So, one thing I want to do before we leave is I want to have a quick look around the room and see if any of the, like you said, there's a lot of books and artifacts and stuff. Do I recognize any of the symbols on any of it, or are they all just pretty random assortments today?
Nope, they're just general maps and chart books and just sort of navigation equipment for the most part. Clearly, she'd been in here resting just because it's a generally nice room. But this is clearly where she had constructed the map you now have. And she must, looking at the map itself, and from what she's obviously told you about how rare to have a map at all is, you could tell she's probably been here for the majority of the last sort of 2 weeks, as she's been getting more and more ill, trying to construct what she has there. But yeah, no, unfortunately, other than that, they are just standard maps and charts of all over the current world.
Okay, cool.
I'm okay to go if everybody else is. I've come prepared.
Yes, we can leave.
Well, if you're quite up to it, then I suppose I've got no queries.
Well then, we should see to the journey. If everyone could please just take one step out of your chairs and just stand the other side of the coffee table, that should be fine. The attendant, still standing next to her side, just sort of stands upright and straight and gestures for you all to take your places.
I'm going to finish what wine is left on that table before I get up, and then we'll go.
I'm gonna fucking hit him in the back of the head.
We're gonna be shit-faced by the time we get there.
That's the plan.
If you fucking throw up when we get there, I'm gonna fucking dunk you in the sea.
I'm gonna put down my glass and I'm gonna pick up Wrenn in anticipation for this, but not over my head. I'm just gonna hold him like a baby in my hand and stand behind the coffee table.
And I'll stand there kind of disappointed at my brother.
Once again, a quiet chuckle. And then around the room, on the floor, you see patterns start to light up. Runes and circles and shapes and lines seem to light up out of nowhere. Clearly, she had not simply been drawing maps while here. A bright flash comes across your vision. A small bit of daze, and then you feel a strange feeling. A burning tropical sun sits above you. The familiar sounds of a harbour, creaking ropes, slapping waves, heavy barrels rolling across cobblestone mingled with voices shouting and the cursing of unfamiliar languages. And to anyone listening specifically to these languages, all you can really make out are clicks, inhalations, and sing-songy words. It sounds almost musical to a point. Somewhat warming. The aroma in the area is filled with spices, tropical fruits, waterside smells, fish, tar, canvas. And before you, you see Port Nyanzaru. And I am going to share a map with you real quick.
So where is this on the actual big map?
This is, I will draw a circle for you.
Oh, okay.
That there is the basic of Port Nyanzaru. It's a bit realistic, it's there. But yeah, you are here.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Very nice.
Fancy.
Looking up from the teleport you've just had, blinking your eyes a bit from the darkened room and the flash of light to the now burning sun, you see this, Port Nyanzaru. An explosion of colour for your eyes. Buildings are painted in bright shades of blue, green, orange, pink, and there are walls adorned with murals depicting giant reptiles and mythic heroes. All the buildings around you can see littered with clay pots, urns, leaves and ferns growing up the sides of trees. Minstrels in bright clothing start wandering around, and you can see feathers and shells on street performers on corners of the area. Everyone's singing, laughing, general chatter of a city.
Roll initiative.
Everyone roll initiative, you're fighting a city.
Oh, Dale, it's that siege battle you wanted.
I mean, we had something akin to that. You see a crowd of children screaming, sprinting through the street. Hats and capes and feathers sprinkled across them. Squealing in delight and terror as behind them, a giant lizard, or at least the man in the suit of a giant lizard, roars cowardly and runs behind them. The city is bustling, alive, sweats, laughing, swearing, singing, the general sounds you'd hear in any great city. And before you, seemingly waiting your arrival, is this man.
Wokonga forever.
Wokonga forever.
Yeah, the attendant stood sort of next to you, holding Syndra to one side, sort of just up and supporting her. And you hear a man walk over and go, "Syndra! It's been too long. I was expecting you slightly later than you expected, but here we are, ready and waiting." As he walks over, he goes, "Ah, of course, I had not even considered. Hello, friends. I am Wokonga."
Wokonga forever.
I never breathe.
I run up to him. Hello, Wrenn Varnuiku. Pleased to meet you.
"And the same to you, friend," and he offers a hand to shake yours.
I shake it.
Firm grip, sort of couple of swings, job done, and looks over to the attendant and goes, "Ah, yes, of course, this is probably not the best environment for her. Please, let me help you." And Wokonga and the attendant sort of take a hold of Syndra from either side, still wrapped in those same blankets, and start walking you around. And I'm going to roll a d4. Well, there we go. So,
All four of you die.
this is possibly the best token we could have had.
Is it mine?
I'm going to add each of you to...
I mean, technically you should, somehow roll a d3, because...
You know, it would have been better to roll a d3, I just didn't think about doing it. And we are going to use this.
Oh, that was all types of wrong. I rolled 3d4.
How did you get that so horribly wrong?
Oh, tactical error.
So yeah, you are starting where Fenro is there on the map. Obviously, again, you are currently starting at the harbour. And the attendant and Wokonga sort of gesture to you and go, "Ah, please, this way. We should get her inside before we can." And Wokonga sort of looks over and goes, "We'll take her to my home. She can stay there as long as she needs. Please, if you follow us, you can have a bit of hospitality while you're there." And he leads you up towards the north of where you currently are. Are you intending on following him, or are you wandering off?
Yeah, I'm keen on following him. I'm gonna start there's like loads of pottery and stuff like that are laying around. I'm gonna look in anything that isn't taller than I am.
Fair enough. Unfortunately, most things here are just sort of... To be honest, most of them are probably empty. You see smatterings of bits of food in some of them, and obviously potted plants are around the place as well, but nothing of real consequence. And they lead you north up to about here, and then up and around this spiral.
Oh shit, we're moving.
Look at me go! Look at me go!
Down to here.
Did he live in a tree?
He lives in what you can now see to be a huge and extravagant villa.
Nice place you got here.
It's nothing much. It's a simple little house I have in the city. And if I can find it... Is there a map? Do we need a map? We don't need a map in this place, really.
Can't answer these questions for you.
As new god, you must answer these for yourselves.
I can't do that sort of thing. I'm not new god, I've always been god. Yeah, this place has the air of what almost looks like a great mansion of a place. This is even slightly bigger than the estate you had seen at Syndra's. Again, a huge place, extravagant gardens litter the area, a fountain on the way in through the walkway, a large pair of wrought iron gates, again painted with extravagant colours just to keep it within the theme. You walk in, and as you look around, you see that the entire area is walled off. The wall's only sort of, I think, about 12 feet tall, a couple of feet thick. But as you look to the top of the walls, you can see it's littered, and stuck into some of the concrete there is carnivore teeth, silvered seashells, and broken glass that glitters in the sunlight. And you assume it's just something of a deterrent. Again, they walk straight in through the door. A couple of guards in the area sort of nod their head to Wokonga as he walks through. And he just sort of says, yes, these are the guests we have been thinking about. Please, if they ever need anything, either escort them to me or I to them. It makes no difference, really. They're friends of ours. And on what you walk in?
So does the house itself, or like what's on top of the walls, does it look out of place for the area, or is this like kind of the norm of everything we're kind of walking past at the moment?
As you're going around like the first bit of a circle, you've seen some sort of smaller, what you would say like mid-range houses, which don't really have any of this. But in this specific area, there are sort of 2 or 3 similarly grand houses.
Right, okay.
Again, with these walls. And they all seem to have the same sort of glittering on top of each, which you would assume to be these same things.
Right, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, he leads you inside, and you see a large, bright, and airy room. You know what? Fuck it, I'll show it. Bing! And this is just a basic floor plan that I've got for this. But yeah, so most rooms here have the doors at least halfway, if not completely open, just to allow some of the air through. This place is as hot as probably any of you at least would have encountered in your lifetimes. You walk in through the front door here, you see servants bustling around the area, fixing things or just generally doing work you would expect. And again, in the entranceway you see this great fountain. As you walk forward off to the right, you see a small sitting area and a large open courtyard with a second fountain, because one wasn't enough.
That is true, one's not enough.
And you're led into this sort of grand hall in the centre then, sweeping staircases going up the sides. And you are led straight ahead and into that small seating room you sit at the top.
Oh, with a nice comfy chairs.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
You're led into there. Syndra's seated in her own in the top left, with her attendant next to her. Wokonga sits then in the light one to the bottom of that, so the bottom left, and offers the other chairs and says, "Please, please sit down. We've much to discuss."
Are these chairs made out of wood?
Yes, but it looks especially sturdy. All the furniture you've seen in this house is extraordinarily fine, well kept. Looks really rather expensive.
Well, I'm gonna sit down, but I'm gonna slow. I'm not gonna crash down on it. I'm gonna gently ease myself.
Yeah, I'm
Any
just
chair.
gonna gesture to Bingo to sit down, calmly and not be an absolute dickhead right now.
I'm just gonna run up to the same sofa that Fenro's on, and I'm just gonna jump full on into the back of it.
Make a dex save.
I can roll a D100 real quick. No, you sit down and you find these chairs particularly comfortable. There is not so much as a creak from any chair in the room. They are solid, sturdy. Again, they're well kept. The pillows on them are furnished with stitchings and embroidered with beads at points. And just generally looking around the room, and obviously you'd have seen this on the entryway in as you walked as well, the area is littered with torches to keep some of the darker corners from being quite so dark, and obviously in the nights just to keep it bright. But as you walk past the torches, not one of them feels like they have any heat coming from them. And on that note, I would like, please, for Dingo, roll me Arcana.
I was going to ask if I could, but since you already want me to, I might as well.
You'd be probably familiar with this, being as where you're from. Yeah, that's easily enough.
Sweet.
You'd know that none of these torches are actually, in fact, torches. The wood's there more ceremoniously than anything else, and above them is cast a small, effectively light cantrip in the shape of a flame. It just seems to be holding there. And now sat down in a more quiet area, you can hear music, seemingly coming from everywhere around you. And again, Dingo, you just sort of make the assumption that there's no one actually playing this music, or at least if there is, it's not on a standard instrument. This is seemingly coming from everywhere at once.
Surround sound. Nice.
Again,
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Smash Bingo in the back of the head.
Not in character. I didn't say that in character.
Surround sound.
Yeah, as you sit down, one of the colourfully dressed women from you'd have seen in the hallways bustling around quickly walks in behind you, placing, again, probably a half a dozen goblets, some wine, some water, some fruits, just a general sort of midday snack, if you will, on the table, and without saying a word, walks back out.
So what fruits we got?
Mangoes, bananas, just anything you can think of that would be exotic in nature.
I'm halfway through a mango at this point.
I was gonna
grab
say
it immediately.
I'm in those mangoes.
I'm just there holding an entire pineapple, just chewing through the skin of it.
I'd like everyone to roll for tasty.
Oh.
Uh,
Mine wasn't that tasty.
It's pretty fucking good. It's pretty fucking good.
I didn't get a good mango, dude.
I mean, pineapple chewing through that skin was good, but when you get in it, it's fantastic.
So yeah, Dingo, your pineapple again. You sort of start, and before anyone can say a word, you're through the skin and into the actual flesh of it, and you're almost at the point of just spitting the skin out. You get to the flesh, and you think, actually, this is
Alright.
this is somewhat enjoyable. This isn't too bad. Bingo, the mango you are eating is a fruit. You have never been a big fan of fruit and vegetables. Let's face it.
Grabbing the goblet. I'm having that.
So I was chewing the goblet instead.
Fenro, although you've never really encountered these, you know what they are, so it's just sort of another bland fruit to you. And Wrenn, you have never seen a fruit like these before. This is a brand new experience for you. It's soft, it's sweet, it's colourful, it's an explosion of scent in your face.
Oh, these are amazing. Where'd you get these?
Ah, I forget that sometimes our guests aren't from around where we are. These are just standard fruits and vegetables you may find in the areas around Jolt. They're something you'll more than likely get used to rather quickly. But on the topic of Jolt, I know as much as Cinder has probably told you before now, but this area, outside of the city anyway, can be rather quite dangerous for several reasons. Unfortunately, we've absolutely no idea where the Soulmonger could be. We know only that it's inside the jungle. I and the other merchant princes have scoured the town with connections we have, and we can assure you it is not here. We've got our own problems to deal with, including this Soulmonger, so it was at something of the top of our priorities. But other than that, it'll be to yourselves to find it. I again warn you, this is no foolhardy adventure. This can be extremely dangerous. And he sort of glances to the attendant, who just sort of nods sternly and says, "Yes, it's rather dangerous out there. I certainly wouldn't go myself, but clearly you all seem up to the task at the moment anyway." And Wokonga, without really thinking about it, just snaps his fingers. And the same woman you saw earlier bringing the fruit and the wine in walks in and plonks 4 small bags on the table in front of each of you. At which point the attendant sort of glances to Wokonga and goes, "We said we would take care of this for you. There's absolutely no need for you." No, I insist. It's the least I could do in the current situation anyway. But these are for yourselves. Please, take them. And each of you have just received a pouch of 50 gold.
Ooh,
Oh, great! Now we're gonna fucking look after Bingo's spending as well.
Yeah, you do.
Oh.
So yeah, please add 50 gold to your sheets.
What you could buy a new fucking great axe for this? Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so seeing you all take this, he's like, "This is probably something to help yourselves get started. The jungles are fairly untamed, and you'll come across much out there. Obviously, you will need supplies, and I can show you to some of the other merchant princes, or at least have someone show you to the district where you may be able to buy some of the things you need."
Thank you very much. It's muchly appreciated.
Indeed, obliged.
And at that same time, again, another snap of the fingers, and this time a male walks in, dressed in a bright garb. No weapons visible on him, but clearly someone that's working for him at this time. And he says, "I would take care while you're out there. This is as I said, an inhospitable place. But should you need anything or want to find out anything, and I may be able to help, don't hesitate to come and ask. We can surely find some solution. Oh, and you may need some help through the jungles. There are people that know them better than most. I would suggest talking with one of the merchant princes. Our friend here will be able to show you where to go. But should you be ready, that is. I wish you well on the adventure. Syndra will, as I said, stay here with us. We're having a room prepared right now for her to stay and relax in. It's the coolest room in the house, and it's taking some time to try and make it a little cooler.
Oh, is it like absolutely lit with LED lights everywhere? I can just so shit.
There's rave music all over the place. There's lights. The floor is a polished glass. No.
Aww.
But yeah. And he says, I should remember. This is Selu. He is one of my people I have working for me. A trusted friend of mine, I would like to think. At which point Selu sort of looks over and just goes, You're too kind. You're too kind. I could not say such a thing. And should you be ready, he is ready to take you out and about. If you'd like to know anything else, then pop the questions at me.
No, I'm all good, so I'm gonna get up and gesture to Dingo to do the same, without taking any more wine.
I've got one of the gold pieces in my mouth. I'm just biting on it, making sure it's flat. Yeah.
I'm gonna get up.
I'm just gonna follow behind, and I'm gonna turn to Wokonga as I'm leaving and say, "You've got some really good friends here. I hope I can have that with this party that I've just met." And I walk off.
I'm gonna kind of actually, for once, hold back, and as I watch everyone else kind of like walking down through like the main area, I kind of hold back and close the door just to. And I say, I must ask you, because you seem like a man who knows the area quite well. Does the name Artaisi mean anything to you?
You see him squint a little bit and rub his chin. And he says, off the top of my mind, I could not say I'm familiar with it, but if you would like, I could try and put out a couple of feelers, see if I can find anything out about it. Why? Is there someone you're looking for?
Aye, it's a man I've been looking for. I was just wondering if you'd seen anything, heard anything about him, maybe his family. I was wondering if maybe they might be on this island of Chult that you're on. But if you haven't heard anything, then I wouldn't pry.
As I said, off the top of my head, I am not familiar with this name for any reason, but I will put out some feelers. We can soon find out anything there is. I have a few contacts that can surely help out with something so small.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You were taking a dig at your height there.
And with that, I kind of open the door. I was only holding it too, and I just run off down through the house to catch up with everyone else as they're walking out.
Yeah.
Unless they're not walking out. In that case, if they've stopped.
Well, assuming they're just following on behind. At this point, Selu would have sort of they're not walking at any great pace. Selu would probably only just be down sort of around where that first fountain is in the main area. And you just sort of trot on after him and out into the world you go. So you are currently in the Merchant's Ward.
That we are.
But that is not where you want to be.
Oh.
So Selu starts sort of just wandering out and back onto the road. He points off to the direction you came and goes, "You've seen a small area so far. You started next to the Harbour Master's office, and through the direction you've walked, you've seen a couple of odd temples." And he points directly down the road to that big area in the center and goes, "That is the Temple of Sarvas. It's a thankfully quite helpful place for where Sindri is right now. If she should need anything, we can get it at the drop of a hat. As for yourselves," and he starts wandering off towards the top of this here bridge. He points down to what is your west, so the top of the map. It says, "Down there is the jewel market." Their name gives away somewhat what they do, but Jolt is rich in natural resources. Anything from carts of mining materials, iron, and other materials, and our main export are gems. And this is where most people will go to sell by exchange. Should you find anything, this is the area you're most likely to want to see. You then start walking into here. Again, this area has a couple more of those large houses you've seen near Wokonga's home. And again, the same thing, huge 12 or 15 feet walls, adorned with shards of glass, glinting, shells painted silver, same with the teeth. And you probably assume that people of note, or at least as of the same note of Wokonga, probably live in this area as well. This is an area we call the Golden Throne. You are fine for now, but should you want to enter the Golden Throne, and he gestures to the big building in the center, the guards there will almost certainly ask you who you want to see and why. I would say that Wokonga's name can get you into many places, but please, remember he is still just a man, and he does have a reputation to keep. If you were looking to start trouble, I'd ask that you keep it out. He is a friend of mine. But this is where you will find the other merchant princes. They each hold some sway over this area. And obviously that's just where, if Wokonga's not at his house, your formaries might be here, or he could be just running errands around the city. But your best choice would probably be checking at his home with the guards.
Did you say there were teeth in the wall?
Yep.
Would I know what those teeth are from?
Nope, they are completely foreign to you.
Ah.
Because you're fucking dumb.
Damn.
You know what those teeth are from. You read about it.
Fuck you, Bingo. Remember my shit, not the fucking torches were.
Fenro's just gonna say, "Oh, probably love. Ain't it a great thing?" And then carry on.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
But yeah, so again, none of you really seen teeth quite this big before. Some of you think it might be ornamental, it could be from an animal you've simply not seen. You've heard of great beasts that prowl areas of the world you've not seen yet, but...
Straight up dragon skull just in the next wall. Whatever.
How big are they in comparison to Wrenn?
In comparison to Wrenn, how tall are you, Wrenn? Let's have a look.
He's 4 foot something.
You're 3'4". Compared to you, some of these are probably almost half of your height.
Can I ask our guide man, what are the teeth from?
You're asking Selu what they're from?
Yeah.
He turns to you with an almost puzzled look on his face and says, "Those teeth." And then he sort of cracks into a frown, and then into a smile and goes, "Of course, I forget. We're not used to having so many new people in the area. They are from beasts of this land. You know what? I do not want to spoil. We'll be seeing some of them soon."
Called it.
Would I know what they're from? Know my background?
Nope, you have no idea. You've never seen such thing before in your life.
Oh.
I can't believe I'm the second shortest at 6'5". Jesus Christ.
And I'm like almost literally half your height.
It's like 3 giants walking around and there's just Wrenn.
So he leads you down over this bridge to a similar area of another few grand houses. Same thing you've seen before. Down a small path to the side and down to here. And this is known as the Grand Souk. This is a general hub of the town. Here you can see merchants sat in stalls or in buildings, calling out wares and things they own. And just a general hubbub of a market. And he turns to you and goes, "This is probably where you will find most of what you want. However, there are other areas of the city with similar sales if you would like a quick tour."
Where are the swords and shit?
He turns to you, sort of looking up a little bit at you, because he's not the tallest man in the world. He's about 6 foot, but again, you know, height situation with the current party.
Short as fuck then, yeah.
So he sort of looks up a little bit and goes, you will find some stores here with the wares you are looking for, but anything of a special note, you would want to talk to Iki. She is another of the merchant princes. She specializes with weapons, shields, traveling gear, if you will. You'll see many of her stalls around here. To be honest, most of the stalls here are in some way connected to the merchant princes anyway. Though I would say if you have special order items, I would try and see to someone trustworthy, if not themselves, if they would allow you to see them.
Alright.
But I will show you the other end of the market if you want. There are several hubs of the city.
While walking with him, can I ask? So does this town have many animal imports, or is this an animal-free town? It being a port and all, I assume you must have livestock at least for food.
We have livestock, though. If you're looking for animals for food, the other market will definitely be more of your liking.
What about animals more on the living side?
He looks you up and down and says, yes, of course, we've imports and exports and things from the jungle you could see, possibly buy. I would warn you they're not cheap, but should you raise the funds, there is a place I can show you that has such things. On that note, actually, let's head in that direction. They're both in a similar area.
I'd love to see that. I am a lover of nature and animals, so just seeing those sort of things would make me happy.
All right.
Right, so he now starts leading you back down to here, through a small couple of passageways into sort of a center area here. He glances off to the south, so in this case the left of the map, to Mala's Throat. That's one of the entrances to the jungle. It's often a point of incursion, unfortunately. But, at least in this case, we've not had any real issues for at least a week now. It's been rather quiet as of late. We'd like to realistically keep it that way, but there's nothing we can realistically do ourselves. And just as a general point, that is just one direction you can go into the jungle. Looking down there, you can see several large guard towers and just generally guards scattered around the area. There are guards scattered around the city, but anywhere there seems to be an exit to the city, there seems to be a particularly large amount of guards. Just in the off chance, you would imagine, but just as a point of note, that's one way out.
Do the guards seem like... Well, obviously, it's a merchant town and everything, so you'd imagine there'd be a lot of money, but are the guards, like, well-equipped, or do they seem like bums?
Most of them seem just like trained military people. Most of them are carrying large wooden shields, almost as tall, well, more than your height, Wrenn, and probably the size of an average man for some of the shields. And a lot of them seem to be carrying what seems like a stout spear. It's sort of like a large, not overly long handle, almost the length of a sword in wood, and then a large, broad spear tip on the front. But yeah, he keeps wandering down.
Would we say we've been wandering for about an hour now?
The area's not overly crowded at the moment. It's probably only been about half an hour to 3/4.
Okay, what about including the time where we were spending in the first half of Silver's house?
Oh yeah, it's easily been an hour in that case. With all the time we've been sat down, it's probably been total time so far, it's probably been like 2 hours.
Oh, okay. In that case, during our travels around the town, my bright green suit has actually turned to like fine-covered leather armor, as like we've just been walking around. Though I'm slightly different dressed compared to how everybody first met me. But it's up to you whether you notice or not.
It is currently about 3 p.m.
Oh, we got a calendar to work, are we?
So the current date and time are ding and ding.
Ooh.
This is the point of keeping order with time. Thank you for the reminder.
Ah, good. My birthday's coming up. It's on the 18th of Pras.
It's not. Don't indulge him.
So you come down into this small area here, which is an area known as the Red Bazaar. At this point, I'm just going to give you the brief description.
Okay.
This seems to be the food center of the city. Large drainage ditches, or large drainage sort of cuts into the ground have been made, running red in some areas, as large, almost enormous slabs of meat are being cut up on some stalls and distributed and sold. Likewise, there are stalls of fruit and vegetables and just general food market area. further to the south then, Salu points out and goes, this is the general market ward, sort of anywhere south of here that isn't on that bridge or the area inside it. Anything you should need should either be here or in the previous area. I would say, if you need a guide, I can point you to a man that could help out. He is on the other side of town, though, so I would advise buying what you need now and considering that.
I'm gonna take a good old look around. I'm gonna see if I can see any of those fucking mangoes.
Yep, there is a stall with just some fruit and veg on it, not too far away.
I'm gonna hop on up and I'm gonna kind of like peering just over the top of the stall. Hello there. That strange looking fruit you got there, the round one with the yellows and the oranges on it. How much is you selling them for?
Mango. Just a mango on its own. 5 copper. These are not my best, unfortunately, so they're a little cheaper than they normally would be. Still perfectly edible.
Okay, so if I was to buy any, would that be considered towards like?
I consider it a ration. Or at least, like, you probably need a couple, so I'd say you need like 3 to make a ration. So if you wanted just mangoes as ration, they'd be a bit more expensive.
Mate, I'm keen. I'm getting 3 of those bad boys.
Yep, so hand over, let's just call it square to silver.
Yeah, ideal. So down to 64.
In addition, this is where I should note that if you want to buy anything, this is the time effectively to do it. You can get effectively anything you can get from a normal adventuring table, I believe. Which I need to actually go and check, because I didn't have a note for it. So if you wanted to buy tools or equipment, or obviously rations, you were warned, obviously, you're going into the jungle, and seemingly for an amount of time you don't really know about at this point. So you're pointed and asked, anything you would like, by all means go for it.
2 questions. First one, is there like a goat anywhere? Is anyone selling a goat?
God fucking damn it.
Ideally dead.
Dead goats? No.
I wanted to eat a goat.
Do not eat fucking goat, okay?
What about live animal vendors?
Ugh.
Not in this area specifically.
Okay.
Second question was, I'm looking for a shield and a sword.
Okay.
I've seen them giant fuck off teeth. I don't know if I'm about it.
Dude, hey, you're a fucking barbarian. You don't give a fuck about giant fuck off teeth. Get in there.
Yeah, you can see just sort of, that'd be off more to the south of you. The area in the moment is considered mostly sort of just food, rations, that sort of thing, but going a little bit further south down towards sort of this area, in amongst these buildings, like sort of all this southern area, is mostly shops and bits like that. So, yep, in this area you can quite easily find somewhere to go about and buy these things. So if you want, what do you want, like a great sword, a normal sword?
Shield. Whatever's one-handed.
A one-handed sword and a shield.
What type of shield? A wooden one? A metal one?
You'd find most of the shields here are either similar in size and shape to the ones they've got there, or just a standard round wooden shield.
Just ran.
You can either get a short sword or a long sword you could wield in one hand.
Obviously longsword.
Figured it would be. So, just for your reference, a long sword is one-handed, 1d8 slashing, and versatile, i.e. two-handed, is 1d10 instead.
That's fine.
And they are 15 gold.
That's fine. That's math. 25 gold for both, yeah.
Looking around, you do see that in terms of armor, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of bulky armor. just in any way. Most of it is leather or studded. There's a couple of small chain shirts, but other than that, any sort of heavy armor seems to be almost void in this area.
It's pretty warm though, isn't it? So...
As a sorcerer, I can't wear armor, can I?
I don't believe so.
Nah.
No, you can't.
It says none, so.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Yeah, so he will show you. I'll just give you the spark notes of the rest of the area. So this is sort of where you can buy some of your market bits, as was the other area. At the top, where you got that sort of 3 prongs going into a big circle.
Yeah.
Right.
That's sort of another market area. He'll take you back to here, and point on through there. It says, this is just a second way we can leave to the jungle. This is where more of the live animals' pens are, if you want to look into that. They are, well, based on your previous knowledge from the seams of it, some rather more exotic animals that you may not have seen before. Actually, I could show you some in action if you'd like.
Oh yes, please. I'd be very much interested in that. Yes.
Did I buy that shield and longsword then?
Yep, you can just add them to your inventory. If you just type into
What items?
bloody items. Or I can drag them in if you want.
I got it. You DM things.
We DM things. But yeah, so at the note of wanting to hear about some of the local wildlife, he brings you back up to here.
Right.
He points off to the left, sort of the upper end of the map. To that big semicircle that goes, that is the Colosseum. This is an area of what I'm sure you've seen before, fights, grand gestures. Honestly, it is quite an amazing sight. Unfortunately, we have no great festival at the moment, so it is hit or miss whether there are attractions to be seen, but I know as of today there is not much happening.
How often do these festivals occur? Would there be one occurring anytime soon?
Proper festivals? Not for the moment. We've not long had one of our better festivals, unfortunately. You have missed out seemingly only by, I think, a month at this point. But if it is action you want to see, action you shall have. And he brings you down this way. Just through a small fish market in this area, back down towards the docks. And looking towards the docks now, he goes, you've seen the docks from the other side, this is effectively no different. And looking across the docks now, you can see that there is a great statue standing in the center of the harbor of what seems to be a grand ancient king in a resplendent loincloth, leopard skin, a huge headdress and shells covering his armor. Once again, you see at the base of this, huge teeth propped up ceremoniously around him. He is carrying, once again, one of the huge shields you've seen the normal guards carrying, as well as the spear. And off apart, other than that, you can see just beyond that, over here, is a lighthouse. Just a standard thing. You can see something. It's shown on the map more clearly, but at the moment it's not up. There seems to be a huge chain coming from the lighthouse and the building across from it. And at the moment, all you can see is just a small bit of chain from either end, because it's now in the water. But yes, he says and points out that there is a huge chain that can be brought up in the off chance of invasion, or if they should need to keep something in or out of the bay. As you start looking across the bay, you get to this corner and you feel something thunderous underfoot. The ground below you starts to shake rhythmically. And all you hear is pounding, coming from what seems to be the south, so coming from that direction. And assuming you look down that way, you see huge lizards sprinting as fast as they can straight down the street towards you.
Lizard limb.
You could describe their appearance. Would they look similar to, like, I don't know, off the top of my head, like a dinosaur?
I'm going to get an exact description specifically for this, if I can find it.
You're not having a dinosaur.
Mate, I've changed my goat plan. I'm having a dinosaur.
So, in this particular race, there are 3 animals. 2 huge frilled beasts with 3 horns protruding from their head are leading the way, with a large armored-bodied animal chasing after them with a huge club tail, which are going to be described as 2 Triceratops and an Ankylosaurus.
Dude, and it is dinosaur racing. Oh my goodness.
We waiting on that for the second he said dinosaur.
I very quickly seeing these dinosaurs go past, whip out my notebook and just do a very quick sketch, like mostly from memory because I assume they've gone past me already and I only some seconds.
These things are moving at thunderous speed past you, though I would say...
Like just a quick rough sketch. Like
I mean, surely the shock of seeing such a magnificent picture would imprint on his mind that he would recall what they look like.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking. I've got
Dingo for DM.
Campaign 4.
You know what, Ben? Roll me
second
performance.
oh performance.
That one tears the paper.
That one there.
That's
religion.
That's
religion.
Oh,
I dragged performance.
Yeah, well,
You had one chance and you blew it.
I dragged performance. That's the
14?
game breaker.
I'd say you get like a rough sketch of the Triceratops, having there been 2 of those, and obviously they're being at the front more easy to see.
Take that.
But other than a rough sketch, you haven't got like incredible detail on them.
Ben, what you have is like a Picasso masterpiece right now. It's all there, but not in like the right shape.
Yeah, you've got a rough sketch of each of these things. And as they thunder past you and around back the way you came, so they go past the fish stalls, which are sort of... You can see now that there's a bit of a gap between the fish stalls and the buildings, which almost gets squashed, but one of the Triceratops pulls ahead and slots through the gap before the others, and they chase off and down around the corner, out of sight.
Oh, I want
At
to
which point, Selu turns around and goes, "Well, that is a good a performance as any to start with."
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, this whole time I've jumped behind Fenro. Like I am hidden behind his leg.
I like how he's chosen Fizzbo as his meat shield already.
At this point, Selu will go, "There is no need to panic. These are tamed racing animals. However, similar animals in the jungle will not have quite such a disposition. The first 2 were Triceratops. They're a large herbivore, as is the second, the Ankylosaurus.
Why did you say they're tamed? He'll want one now.
I said there was a tamed racing animals. I didn't say there
Yeah,
were
but-
any more tamed racing animals.
No, but you answered that they can be tamed.
I've got my gold.
On that note,
We pull together and buy a dinosaur.
on that note, he will point off back to the anchorage. Second exit you saw where he said the animal pens were, and he says, "Ifan Tarola is one of the merchant princes. He deals in the sale of livestock and animals. He does sell beasts such as those, though they are extremely expensive."
Sorry, what was his name?
Ifan Tolo.
Mate, if I'm to roller, persuasion, could I get one of those?
Dude, let me cast I could have cast guidance on Wrenn.
I'm gonna catch.
I still cast it on you.
Dude, Wrenn is not keen on those
That is the
dinosaurs.
spelling of the other guy's name. But yeah, so having these beasts thundered past, and now the notion that they are for sale put in your heads, he will turn to you and go, "You've got some adventuring gear, but I don't know personally what else you would need. I am not one for leaving the city. I was born and raised here, and I do not intend to go into those jungles. My life would have to depend on it. And while out there, my life would probably be consumed by it. And on that note, you will probably want a guide. It would be easier than showing you each of the guides. I am simply going to take you to Jobel."
To who?
Jobel, here's another of the merchant princes. At this point, I'm just going to tell you there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 merchant princes. You know of about 4 or 5 of them.
Sweet. Am I the other one?
You are not a merchant prince on the basis that you are not one of the wealthiest people in Chult. That is
You don't know
effectively the way to become a merchant prince, and to have some favor with the others.
Question. If you kill a merchant prince, you get all his stuff or not?
I'd imagine only if you make it so that nobody else knows you killed him.
So if you just flat out kill him, you can just claim his stuff, you just go to jail for murder.
But yeah, on that note, he's going to take you all the way back up.
Fucking hell, we were going faster than those dinosaurs.
Moving around at the speed of sound. Here we go. Yeah, he takes you back to the Golden Throne. Inside, there are several... It's like a... Well, imagine it as sort of a shopping mall. There is a huge central area with separate wings split off from it, where several guards are stood around the entire area, seeming to know Selu is with Wokonga. They don't really seem to interact with you much, but you can tell they're keeping an eye on you nonetheless. He steps off to the side with yourselves and sort of walks up to the one wing and says, I'd like to speak to Jobel. These adventurers are looking for aid in the jungle, some guides. And the soldiers sort of look to each other and nod. Don't let you in. One goes in, and another man returns with him back to you. And this man looks like this. While they were going to get the guy, Selu would have told you that this is Jobel. He effectively takes care of all the official guides in Port Nyanzaru. Quietly under his breath, he would have mentioned that there are more than just his guides available, but many of them work for at least unsavory characters, and that he would advise not working with anyone except this guy's stuff. Should you want to, there is a way to go and find the others. But as he finishes telling you this, Jobel walks on out and loudly greets you, saying, Hello! It's been a while since we've had new guests in the city, and adventurers to boot. It seems you're in the need of a guide. I can hand you a few pamphlets and tell you the locations of these people. You've probably seen them around the city not knowing, but they're more around the Grand Souk than anything else. And he will offer you several handouts if you want them.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, sure.
Free shit.
Right, let me go and get those handouts.
I mean, there's no point handing them to fucking Dingo, he can't read.
No. I'm going to close his portrait.
Still looking for a goat, dude.
And he hands you... There's one.
Saka.
There's 2.
5 gold a day?
There's another.
Oh, dude.
I know who I want.
You need to calm down, my boy.
I'm just assuming Dingo's reading these.
He's just
That
looking
one.
at he's just admiring the portraits at this point.
I'm just blankly looking at him like, I can't fucking read.
So, well, what are these? They're words, Dingo.
I
Words.
know what words are. Roll that low on my int, thanks.
Okay, what was that word
I'm
say,
perfectly
Dingo?
average.
And yep, he will hand you these and go, These people know the jungles of Chult more like the back of their hands than anything else. After all, mapping a place like this is nigh impossible for anyone, really.
I was going to make Hugh and tell us that he lost a fucking arm.
Yeah, that's happened. I'm not going to read through these because that'll take forever.
I shouldn't read them.
But yeah, he will point to these. He will mention that most of them are in the Grand Souk. And should you wish to go and talk to them, you can find them down there.
I mean, seeing as we're going into this together, shall we collectively decide who our guide is now?
Probably. Save hiring 4 different guides, huh?
Yes, indeed. I like the look of Musharib.
Why?
Well, he's cheap. You only have to pay 5 gold a day. You don't have to pay the 30 days up front. That's always good. Compared to the other 3, he's the cheapest.
That is
I
very
mean-
true.
I kind of want a guide that's not just going to guide, but also help us. Because so far he says he'll guide us. He knows the jungle well, but he wants to go to some fucking volcanoes and recover a forge or some shit. That's not going to help us, is it? It's not what we're looking for.
Well, we don't exactly know where the thing is we're looking for.
I am still reading. I mean, I would have said Hugh, but fucking, he lost an arm. How much help is that one-armed dwarf gonna be?
As you start looking through these, Selu guides you back down to the Grand Souk where these people can be found, and should you wish to, you can go and interact with each with no promise of having to do the job straight away. And would you like to talk to them if you could?
So are they all there? Or...
They're all dotted around the area in various places.
Oh, okay,
From the
but
handouts,
they're
you can
not-
see what they look like, so you can quite easily pick them out of the crowd.
Right, okay, but they're not all in the same place where we can just.
Oh, they're not all stood in a row now. They're around this market area. Some seemingly buying things, some sort of just standing around, some sat at sort of shops, having drinks and things like that.
I'm using the handle of my hand axe just to clean my teeth while they're all reading.
The handle.
Yeah, I'm not doing a good job.
Fucking moron. I'm gonna look up from the pamphlets and see him like with his axe halfway down his throat. Go fucking.
At least he's not using the edge, the blade edge.
He's there fucking sharpening his tusk with the axe. Like, oh, for fuck's sake.
How about Eku? She seems kind of nice.
I kind of also like, from a meta point of view, agree with the Musharib thing because he only costs 5 gold pieces a day. There's no upfront cost, and I mean, if they die, we can probably loot their corpse. But
I mean, as Zach says, if we help her with her personal quest, she'll waive the fee entirely.
ooh,
You gotta read them spark notes, boys.
Yeah, meta, I'd go with the Zaka, but in character, I don't know how to read.
In meta, I pick this one, but in
Well, I'll tell you what, let's make you a little bit more involved in this. Assuming you sort of glance, like you can see the images on the pamphlets, even though you haven't read them. Looking around, you see each of these people individually. Azaka is stood near an awning full of wares and bits and pieces. And from the look of her, she is reasonably tall, incredibly strong looking. She's got muscles toned to the point that even you, Wrenn, are like, damn, this woman does things.
Damn, girl!
On her hip is a well-worn but well-kept scimitar. And the look on her face seems to mean that she means business.
That's the kind of guy that I want, I'm not gonna lie. Straight to the point, let's fucking go.
I'm going to scroll through them and just have a quick...
Feeling like
stuff.
Enku's going to be more of a pacifist in this. Shrab is probably a good guide, but probably going with the whole wizard vibe thing. What I'm getting from him. Hugh's only got one fucking arm, so in my eyes he's out.
Yeah, Hugh at this point, I can say for definite, is effectively sat drinking
Yeah.
near a stall that's got what doesn't look like a wine or like an ale.
Mead.
Not even a mead. It's a strange amber liquid. Not particularly.
amber,
It's
no!
more viscous than normal water. And its sweet smell seems to permeate the air just in general through most of the market areas.
They're like a honey mead, something like that.
Its true name is called Tej.
Oh, I was expecting something more, but Tej.
Literally spelled Tej.
Tej. Right, he was out.
Okay, so ruling out Hugh, are we? Just so I can close them on my end.
I'm rolling out
Yeah.
you.
I think that's right.
Okay, so Hugh is dead. Thankfully.
He's not fucking dead. Jesus Christ, I'm not fucking signing him off to die.
Dies on the spot.
Has heart attack.
Turns
He
to
disappears to mist in front of you.
The dragon that bit his arm off flies down and grabs only him and flies away.
I'm gonna assume that Azaka is the strongest looking.
Yeah,
of all
I'm just
of
skim
them.
reading the other notes. Eku is a middle to late, middle sort of aged woman. Soft expression. No visible weapons on her at all. She is sort of sat in the equivalent of a coffee shop, reading a small book. Not far from her, actually, is then Musharib, who is very much the same way. He sort of sat around, not doing a whole lot, just sort of seems to be chilling at the moment. Again, very soft expression, no visible weapons. Looks wise, but in terms of just pure raw strength, Azaka seems to be the one to go for.
Yeah.
If that is what you're looking for.
Bingo and Dingo looking like, yeah, we're going with the strong one.
But do we need a strong one in these times? We are here to be
Have
strong.
you not seen those
They are
beasts
here
we
for
get?
guides.
It's fucking dinosaurs.
And hopefully we won't come across those beasts anytime soon.
Well, I'm kind of at this point, I'm kind of questioning having read the jungle is my home kind of thing of Musharib, and it's just like, he doesn't look like anyone else here. Because I'm guessing that everyone else is fairly dark-skinned.
Most of the native Choltons are quite dark-skinned, very sort of Jamaican themes. Although looking around the city as a whole, there seems to be a reasonably widespread of assortment of characters, everything from cat people, as you would know them, to dwarves, to half-elves, to full elves, to the standard Choltons, to normal people from distant lands.
Okay.
2 Hulk and half orcs. Right?
So, yeah, but no, the most you can see are obviously the Choltons, which are native to the land, and they look very much like Azaka and Enku. Or Iku.
If no one's against it, I'm gonna approach Azaka.
No, I'm with that idea.
I'll
We're
come
right
with.
behind you.
Yeah, because one lady too old. Dwarf guy doesn't really look like he knows his way around. Come on, he looks massively out of place. Azaka, let's go. She looks strong enough to help us. Let's do it.
Yeah, so I approach her, and very much in my what seems to be my typical manner now, I stick my hand out and I go, "Hello there, I'm Wrenn Varnuiku. I'd been hearing you do guides in this here jungle of Chult."
She reaches for your hand, a very tight, firm grip. And she says, Azaka Stormfang, I have lived here my entire life, and as such, a guide I am. I assume you were given the pamphlets by Jobel.
Indeed we were. Born in the jungle, were you?
In a manner of speaking, I was born here in Chult, but I venture into the jungle most days now, so I consider myself to effectively live there. A manner of speaking, if you will.
Okay. And on this matter of a personal quest you got going on, do you know who stole the mask from you?
I do. They are a native beast to these lands called the Terra Folk. They live at Old Firefinger, not a huge ways from the city. And should you be willing, I would certainly like to get it back. As you can see, as long as I have that mask, I will aid you for as long as I can. No fee necessary.
I look at her, I want to insight check that to see if she's actually telling the truth, that she'll stay with us if she gets the mask, or if that means she's done.
Absolutely, roll insight.
Oh, come on. I see what happened to Ben. Every time you click on... Oh, nat 20.
Nat 20?
It is a nat
Okay.
20.
Well, that changes absolutely nothing. Yeah,
Oh.
you can tell looking at her that she is 100% dead looking you in the eyes, and there is not a hint of wavering.
Good.
She's really good at lying. Fucking A pro at lying.
She also nat 20'd on deception and had a 24 instead.
Yeah, I see what...
You know, she seems to be 100% genuine. She will happily guide you without the quest for the fee as described. But should you aid her in her task, she is quite happy to guide for you as long as she is able to.
Was. What?
I should also point out that she is 6 feet tall.
Ha! Suck a dick, Wrenn.
And these terrafolk, are they beasts you've dealt with before?
They're not amazingly common. They seem to stick to their nests, but I have dealt with them in the past. I would not like to deal with them alone, certainly not. But... And she sort of glances around and up and around. This seems like a strong band you've got. I feel confident that we can take them down.
Dingo Bingo just there flexing in the background.
Like Johnny Bravo, just...
Right. Is this something... Are we looking to take on the quest as something because at the moment we don't have any direction as far as we're going, so a quest is as good as any.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take on the quest.
Yeah, it's about 8.
Assuming you sort of huddle to one side to have a quick final chat.
Yeah, we have a football huddle.
Oh,
on the
by huddle you mean the 3 of us stand and we just pick Wrenn up
we
to our height?
Wrenn up, pick him up to bring eye level with the huddle.
Assuming you all turn away, she disappears into mist. No. She
Dragon sweep.
waits quietly for you to have your chat, and as you sort of turn to look at her again, she says, if it's any incentive, I am quite happy simply to see the 30 gold that you would pay up front and call it quits there.
I don't think we'll be needing that. We've got no better leads as to what we're looking for here anyway, so we'd be happy to help you on your quest.
This is excellent news. Then please allow me, Azaka Stormfang, to help you on your journey.
I reach up again to shake her hand to kind of seal the deal.
Yep, another firm handshake back to you.
And then I'm gonna just also shake her hand and introduce myself as Dingo and the retard as Bingo.
Yep, she will quite happily wander to each of you and brief handshake and away to go.
Ooh.
At this point, Selu sort of looks to you and goes, well, you seem to have a more able guide than I certainly. If it's with the same to you, I will return to Wokonga's place and go about my duties. I leave you in her, and he looks her up and down, capable hands. Assuming you've been looking through all the pamphlets, sort of discussing among yourselves, I'm going to boost us forward a couple of hours.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
We are now up at sort of 4 p.m. Yeah.
Okay.
So I am going to add Miss Stormfang to the party.
Oh,
What a
dude,
girl.
get a party sheet together now.
NPC.
Could you also add us to the party as well? That'd be great.
I will do that momentarily, you asshat.
Party sheets, that's the stuff.
Party sheet. Put it there. And you all do it now. And there you go, with your ridiculous stats.
What? No.
The lowest stat here is a 10. And that is lowest by far.
Wait, lowest stats are 10? That's me. Oh,
Yep, you have the lowest stat of the group.
Mine
wait,
has
it's in
12.
2.
My lowest is an 11.
Yeah, mine's an 11.
Oh,
3 of you have a stat of 11. And then the next lowest stat is a 12.
wow.
Yeah,
Rigged stat.
Zach. Would anyone in the city have a staff of magi that'd be willing to loan me for this adventure or not?
Yeah, no.
Okay, shit. Let's show.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to do. Is Azaka, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Here now, Azaka. Is there anything you'd suggest for us to get from any of these market stalls or anywhere that you'd recommend for us to have in our adventures in the jungle?
She'll sort of up and down the party, have a look around, and say, well, there are a few formalities as well as suggestions I could make. Suggestions, I would say you'll definitely want some rations. A 10-day of rations will not last out there. We'll be back, well, within the week.
No need to worry, I've got that sorted. And I just grin.
Fucking berry forager.
She'll...
Same with water.
Is that a racial slur? I felt like a racial slur when I said it.
Are you slighting Azaka? You gotta tell me now if you're slighting Azaka.
It's not aimed at Azaka.
Yeah, no, then aimed at Fizbo.
My name's Fenro.
Right, yeah. Is that her only suggestion?
No, she says, effectively she'll say, obviously a good amount of rations, even as backup, would be a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of rivers through Chult, as well as sort of basins of water, so a canoe is purchasable in the city as well from a specific vendors.
I don't know you carrying that.
She would suggest that one of the things they sell specifically for this area is a rain catcher, which can be set up on a rest and will collect water for you. Should you want that?
Oh shit, yeah, we should probably get that.
I'm just going through the list. Oh, yes. She will, again, looking to each of you, knowing that none of you look like you're from the area, she'll go, you'll not notice it much in the city at the moment, but in the jungles you certainly would, so it would be remiss of me to not mention the insects. There are many large insects, as well as the smaller variety in the jungles. If I were you, I would certainly stock up on insect repellent.
Okay, and how is the insect salve working? When we use it, is it like...
Okay, so there are two versions of insect salve.
Right.
There is the salve itself, which is like a... Think of it as like a moisturizer almost.
Okay.
Which you can buy, which is a use a day, and if I check the stats...
A use today keeps the bugs away.
Oh.
Yeah, so a vial of salve sells for a gold piece and contains 20 applications.
Right.
And it's like an odorless grease you just apply to your skin, works 24 hours, so it's effectively a one-a-day situation. It's also waterproof, so that no matter if you're in like heavy rain or you're walking through the bottom of a lake, it stays. Alternatively, you can get a block of incense for 1 silver piece, which will burn for 8 hours and works in a 20-foot radius. Azaka would highly suggest going for the salve personally, it's what she uses.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one thing you can get. There is obviously the canoe.
So to the canoe, is that something we need to get to where she wants to go?
A very good question.
Yeah, like canoes are big. I don't want to be like carting around a canoe.
Yeah, question. How big is this canoe? Is it big enough to hold 5 of us?
I mean, the 4 of you, I'll be eyeing.
Yeah, we like fucking throw it overboard as like a float.
Fucking Fizbo can just turn into like a dolphin or something.
No, it's level 4.
For the map, she would say, depending on the exit you choose to leave through, no, you probably would not need
Okay.
a canoe to get to her location specifically.
I'm gonna say no, because that just sounds like a pain, just to lug that around everywhere.
I mean, Wrenn, you could have, carried it if you wanted to. Save Fenro.
Yeah, nah.
I guess we'll go buy more rations of insect repellent and...
Yeah.
Yeah, so effectively she's going to tell you about the canoe, the insect repellent, the rain catchers, should you want those as well. The big thing she will tell you about now before you go to buy anything else
Go on.
is that to adventure in Chult, you will need a charter of exploration.
Right, okay.
She tells you that there is a group known as the Flaming Fist, which patrols the jungles of Chult. And their aim, should they find anyone without a charter of exploration, will be to take what they believe is a fair sum of the earnings of that party, and whatever else they should think that you should not need.
Right, is that like an aim to stop poachers and that, or?
That's the spoken goal.
Right, okay.
Looking at Azaka herself, she seems to be not angry with the idea of them, but she's certainly not in admiration of the name when she says it. And she would highly suggest getting a charter of exploration.
Okay.
On that note, she will also tell you, and this is where the fun starts to begin,
Oof.
To roll initiative.
because she wants to test your fortitude. No.
Oh.
The charter of exploration can only be got from Fort Belleroon.
What the fuck is that?
That is a week's journey north of Port
What
Nyanzara.
the fuck?
So we've got to walk outside in the jungle to get the thing that allows us to walk outside in the jungle.
And she will also tell you, because she is we'll double check. Yep, she'll know this. That a charter of exploration costs 50 gold.
Maybe we should ask Wakanda about this before we leave.
We could go back and speak to them.
Hmm.
You could?
Yeah, that might be worth to see. If, because you'd imagine.
He would know about this, and he wouldn't just send us out there unprepared for this kind of situation.
While we're kind of going back, I'm gonna kind of, from the various stalls in the ship,
Buy
I'm
mangoes.
gonna purchase
Shit
one
tons
of
of
the,
mangoes.
all the mangoes. No, I'm gonna be getting like, an assortment of like dry cured meats and stuff that are like non-perishables.
Yep. Let me go look up the item.
She said 10 days wouldn't be enough, but I'm just gonna go for 10.
She would know exactly where the place she's going to is, where Firefinger is.
Right, okay.
And she will tell you that Firefinger is at least 8 days from the city.
Right.
8 days. Oh.
Do you want to just, for the sake of brevity, tell us, like, how much you want to how much money you want to rip from us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
After
probably,
giving it us, you want to get... No!
probably gonna buy the rain catcher, the rations, and some salve.
Okay,
Yeah.
so insect repellent is, again, assuming you want to get the salve, which I assume everyone probably will.
Yeah.
20 uses is 1 gold.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna buy up to 15 rations.
Okay, a ration is 5 silver pieces.
5 silver pieces. Okay, so that's taking me from. I've already bought the mangoes.
A
So
ration
that's-
is 5.
Yep.
Fuck.
It is sufficient food to last you an entire day.
So, how the fuck was your shield and sword gonna feed you now, bitch?
Dingo. You might need to buy a little extra ration.
I mean, I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
So yeah, buy however many rations and insect repellent you want. I will look up the cost of rain catchers.
I hope they're 2 GP.
How much was insect salve?
20 uses is 1 gold.
I've already got one, so I'll buy.
No. You don't have one. You just have the actual.
You have a selection for it. We can
Oh.
update that to be a tick
You'll
list
have
after.
to change it to prep, change mode to prep, and change the number.
Okay,
to 20.
I'm gonna buy 3 for 3 gold, so I'll take 3 gold off, and I'll mark it as free then.
No, 60.
Oh, 60, okay.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a massive block.
Oh, we've got to mark the insect as 60, not like...
No. You mark the insects off. For each one you buy, you mark 20.
Right, I'm
It comes
gonna.
in like a tub, and then you just take a finger out of the tub, wipe it over yourself to get like a coating.
Surely that would mean Fenro would need more than Wrenn. You know, thinking about it, Wren's rather small guy. Fenro, big fucking.
I chop up a berry into mine. It bulks it way out, like.
Wrenn gets like 4 uses out of it. Everyone else gets like fucking 10.
I've got an assortment of like fruits and meats and stuff like that.
Yep, so you have as the rations that you would like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy 2 lots of insect repellent.
And then the Raincatcher, how much can the actual Raincatcher catch?
Basic description is it's like a bamboo frame with a leather tarp in the center. It forms like a basin, so when it rains, obviously it comes down into it. It can catch a maximum of 2 gallons of drinking water per rainfall, provided there is enough rainfall.
Right, okay, and how much...
Oh no, sorry, I'm lying.
Liam, add 10 lots
It
of
can
rations.
hold up to 8 gallons.
Wait, me add 10 lots of rations?
Add 10
How
lots of
much-
rations to
how
yours,
much
yeah.
is the
Jeez,
assumed,
bruh.
I just bought
skin
20.
holds?
We're big guys. We like to eat. Fucking get those rations in you.
Exactly.
I had a note for this. Let me go find that note.
I'm literally just buying things essential to what we're doing. Like, oh, I'm gonna go buy a shield and a sword because I need these. I've already got weapons, but I need to buy more.
I needed the shield for 8. My 8's really fucking low without it.
Mine's fucking 10.
Yeah, mine was 13 for a frontline guy.
I'm gonna buy some fucking armor then, you
I had
idiot.
that on my bard last campaign.
Come
Buy
on,
some
twins,
fucking
you've got this.
armor.
So
buy
a
shield.
Raincatcher is 1 gold piece per Raincatcher. They weigh 5 pounds.
I take my body from
And
attack.
per day you need
I'm gonna
1
buy
gallon
a
of
piece
water.
of wood, not some armor to cover it.
Wait,
Right,
rain
okay.
catches is 1 gold.
A Raincatcher is 1 gold, it weighs 5. It can catch up to a maximum of 8 gallons. You need 1 gallon per day of water minimum, and your water skin holds 5 days worth of water. So 5 gallons.
Is there a way, can we like drag this in, or are we typing it in?
I can drag that into your inventory, whoever wants one.
5 whole gallons.
I'll
in
buy
our
2
skin.
since fucking
Holy
Dingo.
shit.
Sorry,
I've got 2
Dingo.
gold, I can buy one.
I've got 48.
Oh,
I'll buy one as well.
And
Yeah.
that's after buying 20 lots of rations, so
you
yeah.
might be buying one for me then too.
Yeah, I'll buy 2, give 1 to each of us.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fenro's got 1, Dingo and Bingo are getting 1. Wrenn, do you want one, or are you going to skip on the Raincatcher?
I'll carry your Raincatcher if you like,
No,
Wrenn.
I'll buy one.
Okay, so everyone's going to get a Raincatcher.
And it was 2 gold, you said.
It's 1 gold per Raincatcher.
1 gold, so that's...
How do you change how many uses your... Oh, you just type it into inventory, but you've got like 40 uses. You buy 2
How much does a Raincatcher weigh?
No.
5 pounds.
Thank you.
Are we adding Insect Salve to our inventory, Zach, or are we just going to treat it from the actions?
Just treat it from the actions. I'll say it's effectively negligible weight.
So just go
I
to
can't
the
be asked for that.
actions now. Change the mode to prep. And then in the bit that says 0 next to once, change that to however many you've bought.
Can I also buy some water skins, some extra ones, please?
If you should so wish. 1 second, I'll just add these Raincatchers and I'll look up the cost.
Oh, should I delete the? I just added it. I just typed it in.
Ooh, baby.
What have you got? The Raincatcher already?
Yeah, I just typed it in. Put 5.
I'll drag it in
£5.
for you, it'll be easier.
Alright, I'll delete it then. I've done-
Thing broke again. Raincatcher.
Wait, what? How much were rations?
We were given
5 silver
50
per
gold, you idiot.
5
silver.
Silver?
5 silver per day for a ration.
Ah.
Did you do 5 gold per day for a ration?
Yeah, I've got a lot more money than I thought. Silver's what? Is that silver like a 10p or is it like a 50p?
Silver is a 10p.
Cool.
So it's 1 copper. Oh, sorry, 1 gold, 10 silver, 100 copper.
Yes, what I was working on. That's why
No
I
one
went,
uses Electrum because Electrum is
I
hateful.
wouldn't have spent 32.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking, I bought,
That much.
fucking 20
Bearing
Bearing in mind,
rations.
you did spend 25 gold in getting new items.
Liam, did you take money off of the rations I gave you?
No, I worked it out as it was 5 gold per ration thing, and I was like, I'm broke, I'm fucked.
You were thinking,
those who
oh
want it,
shit,
a
how
new
the
water
hell did
skin
they have
is
like
2
20
silver.
rations?
Okay, I'm gonna buy probably another
no.
5, and I'll buy another 5, so I have 6 in total, and that'll be 1 gold.
Yep, and then just add as many uses to the rations pouches you've got, and we'll just
Yeah.
assume you fill them in town.
So I'll have 6, so I'll have 30. I'll have 30 uses total for my water skin.
There you go.
I'm gonna buy 1 more water skin. That's it.
Okay,
That's how many. Is that 2 silver? Is it?
2 silver pieces. And then add another 5 to your water from the preparations tab.
Oh shit.
If you want, I can do that for you.
Silver. I put 8.
I'll buy an extra water skin too then. So that's what? 2 silver pieces?
2 silver pieces.
That's that.
So I was like, I got
That.
this. I fucking
Have you got this, have you?
That.
I've fucking done it. Look at me go.
You have done it. You've got the right amounts.
Also, I have not got enough rations. I have 20 lots of rations.
Cool. Done it.
Liam, did you
Okay, so
change
everyone's got the water they want, everyone's got a rain catcher,
Liam,
everyone's got the rations they
Liam,
want.
Did you change your rations too or not?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm good.
Did that.
Okay, waters can go, rations can go,
Fucking
rain
mad.
catcher can go.
Oh.
Again, these are all effectively on stores around the area.
Yeah.
I will say that any food stores will also have Tej on them. And while they're selling you other stuff, they will try to sell you some more of their merchants while they're there.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that.
And
Tej.
Tej, like I said, is an amber liquid, a fermented honey drink. Very popular in Chult. You won't see it in many other places because it tends not to reach out of Chult.
Yeah.
You can get a mug of Tej, which is 4 copper. Or you can get a cask of Tej, which is a 1 gallon cask, which costs 2 silver.
Going for it.
I'm just buying that. I'll buy one while I'm there because it just seems.
Again, this is more of like a
You saying
nice
it was a
drink to
keg?
have. It's not so much a drink that you'd need.
Keg
No,
of
no, no,
what?
I'm just gonna have it for like
Tej.
new.
Keg.
So that was a.
Hang on. Right, so
Yeah.
who's having how much Tej?
I bought a
I'm
keg,
just gonna
mate,
drink
for 2
one mug.
silver.
You're gonna drink 1 mug?
Yeah.
Okay, so our mug is 4 copper, and while you're there, Bingo is gonna go ahead and buy a whole thing for Tej. I'm gonna drag that for you now, Liam. I should be able.
Oh, thank God. I'll delete
I'm just gonna fucking shake my head in disbelief at this point.
Cask of Tej.
Do you just be lucky they weren't selling goats, mate? I don't
We
know.
leave the village for a day and spends almost all the money he's given on new weapons and fucking alcohol.
I'm keen. Am I going for roll for tasty?
Give it a go. This is far nicer and sweeter. It's smoother than the wine you tried before. It's still
pretty good.
slightly alcoholic, but only very slightly, just enough to give you that feeling of niceness.
It's pretty good. I can still taste the alcohol because it's not something I'm used to. But in comparison to the wine that I drank earlier, it's so much nicer. More fruity.
I say this is effectively the drink of Chult. This is. You can find this almost at any settlement in one form or another.
6. What effect do I have on me?
I'm gonna need you to
Level
roll a
5
con save.
exhaustion.
You're blind for the rest of the game.
Oh,
You're fine.
dude.
As I say, it's just a mug of Tej is not gonna make you go skits.
Right. Okay.
Even your tiny body is fine.
What about the keg that the fucking bingo bought?
I've not cracked into it yet.
You're drinking a gallon of Tej in one go. I am gonna make you do it, but no.
Just fucking cracks the spigot off, just pours it into his mouth and fucking keg.
Attempts to keg stand, realizes how small and fragile the keg is. It just breaks underneath.
Gets pissed off, buys more kegs to try again.
Okay, it's how long is that going to take? That's going to take a while for you getting stuff, so I'm going to move that forward in another couple of hours between talking to Azaka and buying stuff. So it's now it's getting late.
Okay.
You could tell it's rough. Meta's talk, it's 6 p.m. The sun is still fairly high. It's definitely waning from when you first came into town. But it's starting to dim down. I am going to roll a couple of things.
Have you added Azaka to our
Combat tracker.
party sheet or anything?
She's in the combat tracker, but not the party sheet.
I can't see her on either.
No, I can't see her either.
Oh, wait, hang on, that's why.
I don't have a party sheet.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh,
She was still marked as an enemy.
Oh shit, she got some health.
We're not even on the party tracker.
Okay, that's topical.
Much like that drink was tropical.
That pun physically hurt me. So as you're all buying things here and there and moving store to store, talking about charter of exploration you're going to need, who would be best?
For what?
Let's have a look at her height. That'll be the deciding factor.
Okay, Fenro. Fenro's tallest, Wrenn is shortest. Me and Dingo are kind of middling.
I love how they're your names and you've already got it wrong like 2 or 3 times.
Shut up.
He even called Dingo.
I
I was
did
like,
call
which
Dingo.
one do you want?
I did not want to be called
or
Dingo.
He was like, I want Dingo. And I'm like, cool, that's fine.
I didn't want someone to shout that to Bingo and kill me.
For argument's sake, Wrenn, you feel a tap on your shoulder.
Fucking hell, they must have leant over. Okay, I turn to see where this has come from.
So, from behind you, as you turn around, you hear a quiet feminine voice go, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I couldn't help but overhear. My name's Zandala. And a small, probably mid-20s woman holds out her hand for a handshake. I don't have an image for her currently for reasons.
At this point, can the other 3 of us turn around menacingly to loom over them both?
Actually, fuck it, I'm going to share the image for reasons. Pat.
Ooh.
Dragon.
Got a little familiar there.
And you see...
She's got dragon scales on her face.
Very faint, almost painted on by the look of it.
Right, okay. So I want to insight check her because straight away I'm on the kind of, not the defensive, but like someone I don't know has tapped me on the shoulder and we're in like a merchant kind of, we're in a market. I'm like, has she stolen from me?
I mean, that's fair.
In
In that case,
Are you doing this kind of sleight of hand
don't
to
roll
steal?
insight, instead roll investigation.
Investigation. Not 20 again!
What the fuck is wrong with your investigation, man?
Don't worry, when he gets to combat, he's gonna fucking kill one of us instead.
Did she steal from me?
So, you quickly but discreetly tap your pockets and the zips on your the fastenings on your backpack, and everything appears to be where it should be.
Okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, I imagine you do that as you turn around. So,
Yeah. It's not like I stopped and...
No. You didn't look at her, see her with her hand extended for a handshake, and then immediately go, where is it?
No, it was
Where's my
kind of
gold?
like a
Where is it?
reaction just from someone's tapping
Just from
on the
someone tapping on
shoulder.
your shoulder in general, yeah.
Right, so she's... What was it she said? Just excuse me.
Yeah, she said, excuse me, I didn't mean to startle you. I couldn't help overhearing your predicament. My name's Zandala, and she offers her hand for a handshake.
Yeah, I reach out. I'm like...
You after your quick ocular pat down, just go, yeah.
Is she much taller than me?
She's
I'm
probably
assuming she's taller.
5'6". She's definitely
Right,
taller
okay.
than you.
Yeah.
I think everything in the universe is taller than you. Well, except maybe that drunk dwarf that was there.
Oh. Well, hello there, miss. You've... It's not too often that I get caught off guard. How can I, Varnuiku's the name. How can I be of service?
It's nice to meet you. I heard your predicament with the charter. I'm actually supposed to be going into the jungle, but and she sort of looks up and down herself and just goes, I'm not particularly equipped to go in alone. But I do have this. And she lifts out of a pocket on the inside of her jacket. Seems to be deep inside her jacket.
Right.
A small envelope with a seal on it. And she says, I picked this up a while ago. I sent for it from the fort. It's a charter to explore the jungle.
So is it just the one that we would need as a party?
Yeah, you have one for the group, effectively.
Or split hand steal. No.
But yeah, so she goes, I was supposed to be going out for a quest, I suppose you could say, that I personally am on, but I can't go alone, and a single guide, while helpful, won't really help me alone.
I'm gonna assume at this point we've heard this, right?
Yeah, you're all here. I imagine you're all at the same store, and she's sort of addressing all of you at the same time. She just tapped Wrenn because he's the least threatening in the group.
And, what is it, may I ask, that you'd be, needing help for?
Well, me and my little friend here are looking for my father. He went into the jungle exploring some time ago, and I've neither heard word nor rumor about him since, and I was hoping maybe to go looking for him. I gotta be honest, I have no idea where he is. But I just want to keep looking for him, search for any signs if I can. And given that you seem to be in need of a charter, and that I am in need of a group, I thought we could come to an arrangement.
So I look to... So is the envelope sealed?
It is a wax seal on the back, holds it in place, and a small notation on the front just says Charter of Exploration. You assume there is a more detailed document inside, but yes, there is effectively just a wax sealed shut envelope.
It seems a bit like too good to be true.
You're telling me.
I'm just gonna touch and cast guidance on Wrenn.
Has Wrenn got the envelope in his hand at this point?
Nope, she is very firmly holding onto it. She has shown you it, and she has put it back.
Uh-huh. Okay. I wanted to have a look at it, but she put it back. Can't.
Bearing in mind at this point, Azaka is with you.
Azaka, you said that we had to go to the fort ourselves if we wanted to get one of these charters, isn't that right?
I said that you would need a charter, and that the fort is the place to get them. But it seems it's not the only place to have someone with a charter. They are not named or stamped for a particular person, so that obviously they can be reused once they're no longer needed. And Azaka will go, apologies for this. Zandala, was it? Could I have a quick look? And Zandala, sort of hesitant for a moment, goes, yeah, I suppose. Just, please, it's enough to get one. Sort of a reassuring nod. Then from our friend, and she hands it over.
On the count of three, we all bolt into separate directions, right?
Rush!
Azaka makes extremely sure not to A, break the seal, B, hand it towards any of you, and C, keeps it in sight of Zandala the entire time, sort of being respectful in that nature. And she looks at the writing on the front, checks the seal, and goes, well, I can certainly attest myself that this is indeed a charter of exploration. I have seen enough in my time. And hands it back to Zandala, who again, very quickly puts it deep inside a pocket in her coat.
Before she does that, while it's inside, can I roll Arcana to see if it's, magic to make it look real?
Sure. It doesn't seem like any sort of illusion magic.
Right, okay. Nothing to make me suspicious of it anyway. Upon I just her name, I forgot it.
It's Zandala as the girl, and
Other one.
Azaka.
Upon Azaka's approval of the document, I'm gonna reach a hand, well, probably down to again her name. I've literally just heard it and forgot it again. Zandala, and I'm gonna personally say, "Just welcome to join us."
are you certain?
Saves us time and effort, so.
May I ask, miss, how long has your father been missing, and do you know for what reason he left to the jungle?
I honestly couldn't say. I don't know why he left. He came home one day and proclaimed that there was something he had to do in the jungle. Knowing how he is, I didn't question too much, and he went about his way. That was... that's got to be nearly 3 weeks ago. He's extraordinarily able. He hasn't his own companion with him.
It's a red dragon.
I think they call him a dragonborn. He's mute. He's never spoken, at least not that I know of. But he gives off a strange aroma. He's very difficult to miss, to be perfectly honest. But they're both extraordinarily capable.
Right, you are. Well, in your predicament, I see no queries with what's going on. If you don't mind, we're going to be helping your lass Azaka, and we might just find your old man on the ways.
That's great. Yeah, I'd be delighted. And she gives a sort of takes a step back and gives a curtsy. Goes, as I said, I'm Zandala, and this is Summerwise. And she points to the small reptile on her shoulder.
Still been left hanging here. Offered a handshake. No one's accepted it.
She'd have shaken your hand and then took a step back. There was a lot of speech in between, and she wanted to make sure everyone was cool with it.
Fenro dove in, Mr. President style, and just took one for the team. Handshake.
While this whole conversation's happening, I am tranced by the reptile on her shoulder, and I am doing as detailed sketch as I can of it.
I'm staring at the reptile, wondering if I can eat the reptile.
Upon knowing that this is probably what Bingo is thinking, I'm gonna just turn to him and just fucking scold him with my eyes, basically.
Clip him on the back of the head. So I'm taking it, the thing on her shoulder, metatalk wise, is just a celestial. Well, is a familiar. Sorry.
Is it a little bit baby dragon?
You know what, actually?
Would I know?
Dingo and Fenro both roll me. Fenro roll me history. Dingo roll me arcana.
Well, I've got proficiency in history as well.
Because what I was going to say was, is there any point in Fenro actually sketching something that...
Well, no, it's a mystical thing. I'm scared.
Okay, so Dingo, you definitely know what it is. Fenro, roll me history.
Dirty 20.
Top that.
Yeah,
Joe, I'm not necessarily sketching things that I want to transform into.
Oh, okay.
Not all the time, anyway.
No, not all the time. I will.
You just like
but
sketching, dude. It's a passion of this. It's a weird passion, but it's a passion.
You still got to roll me that history, Fenro.
Yeah, Ben. Roll history.
Oh, Fem. Oh, sorry.
Oh my god.
Did
You,
hit
you might know
Dingo?
what this is from the past, just from generally looking things up and studies in the past, and, well, Dingo knows what it is from studies into Magecraft.
Right, I think I got grab history.
Ooh.
Oh, trash. Weak 18.
Yeah, you'd know what it is. You know less, but you'll hear the full description anyway, because I'm just going to give it to Dingo, but you'll know slightly less. So, you would both know that this is a creature called a pseudo-dragon.
Oh, okay.
A sumo dragon? Wow. No
Pseudo.
Dude, it's not that fair.
It's a pseudo legendary. Fucking this.
It's a pseudo-legendary, it is. No, yeah, pseudo-dragon. Fenro, you've just effectively seen illustrations in the past and have heard tales of pseudo-dragons. Never actually seen one. Dingo, you know a little bit more. You know that they don't typically speak ever, and that most of the time they sort of pick a human or human-like race to befriend and stay with them, and that you would probably also know that as a result of not speaking, they tend to communicate with images that they project mentally.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, Wrenn, Bingo, don't even think about it. It's just a weird-looking dragon. Weird, tiny dragon.
Does it look delicious?
It looks very protected by the woman in front of you.
Oh,
Can I talk to it in speech of beast and leaf, and just say, "Have a nice day there"?
It looks at you blankly.
Okay.
Upon hearing this, can I just say it won't talk to you?
You've said it.
Yeah, it won't talk to you.
So did we still want to go to the plan was to go to. What was the man's name?
We should still go see fucking Wakanda before we
Wakanda.
leave.
Yeah.
His name isn't Wakanda, Zach. What the hell's wrong with you?
Wokonga, that was it. Wokonga. Did we still
Wokonga
wanna go
is his name.
The
Oh,
Congo?
Wakanga or Tamu.
Republic of Congo, forever.
The Republic of Congo has declared peace with your company.
Dude. Yeah, do we still want to go and see him before?
And we best had, just duck out without telling him we're going.
Yeah, so I would take it we just go back the way.
I assume we're not going to leave now either, since it's getting pretty late. We want to go in the morning.
Yeah, I assume we stay the night and then we leave early morning, when literally as soon as the sun rises, we make our leave.
So are they both coming with us now? Or are they going to wherever they're going? Meet up in the morning.
Zundala will say that she's quite happy. She's got a place in a tavern in the town that she will stay for the night, and she will meet you effectively here again tomorrow morning.
Sweet.
And Azaka will turn to you and go, if it's residents you speak of, then save bothering a merchant prince with something so small. You could choose one of the two main establishments of the town. I'm sure they'd be happy for your business.
Oh, but he's got
Probably
bathhouse.
We might get one of their apples, but we should really go tell him that we're prepared and we'll leave in the morning.
There's the bit I was looking for. I found it. It's cool. That makes this next section so much easier. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to go back and talk to Wokonga, you are absolutely able to.
You'll go see Wakanda again. You go see him.
Yeah, we just go back past the Golden Thrones, was it? That's
The Golden
way we
Throne.
came. Yeah, that's so. I guess we just walk back that way. The only way we know from where we are.
Okay, so you would come back around the Grand Souk where you are. You would go back up through what looks like a fairly large neighborhood. Again, this is where a few of the bigger houses are. You walk around past the Golden Throne. Again, you can see all the guards inside. There seems to have been a shift change, but they're all in exactly the same garb. Effectively, nothing is different from before. And you appear here at the gates to Wakonga's home.
Has Azaka joined us at this point, or is she?
She's still with you right now. She says at this point, I will wait outside. You can speak to your friends, and we can find somewhere to stay for the evening.
So yeah, onwards and upwards.
So yeah, so wander up to the gate. Obviously, you've still got the two guards sat next to the gate. These guards haven't changed, and you can see that they hold effectively like a crest on their shield, which you would assume is in some way related to Wokonga. And they sort of look to you and go, "Ah, you are the adventurers we were talking about earlier. Wokonga is in if you would like us to fetch him, or if you would like to speak to him."
We just want to leave a message. Leave him?
No, I want to talk to him. Make sure he gets this message. It could be the last time he sees Bingo.
Bingo could go in for a fucking trade. I want to trade my new shield for one of those shiny ones.
I will give you this bear head.
So what is the plan then? Are we going to leave a message, or are we going to see Wokonga?
I want to see him.
Yeah.
I'm going to see him? Yep. So they will lead you inside quite happily to the front entrance hall. I'm not going to bother resharing the map. Literally to the front entrance hall. One of the guards one guard stays at the gate. The other one takes you to the hall, where obviously other guards are stationed in and around the house, and leave you there. One of the servants, seeing you, quickly walks off into another room and fetches back Wokonga. So he goes, "Hello, friends. I did not expect to see you quite so quickly, but I suppose it is getting late now, so how has your day been? Have you managed to get prepared for the journey?"
Well, we've got our supplies, we have found a guide and a charter of exploration, so we will leave first thing in the morning.
This is excellent news. We have put Sindra to bed. She is worsening. I don't know how quite longer she will last, but you knew this already. Anyway, yes, she will remain here, and I too will remain here. If you think you are prepared for your journeys, and you did manage to get a charter, I am glad of this, because the Flaming Fist are not someone to be trifled with. They can be more of a rough-housing group. Again, he doesn't have a scowl, but he certainly has that look of
Contempt.
sort of apprehension when he mentions them. He will also mention, now, I did not think to tell you this earlier because we'd met in person, but for future reference, I am a man of, let's say, more exquisite artifacts. I am far more in tune with magic items and lore of the land than most others. Meta talking on this, he can sell potions and scrolls. So should you need to, I would advise going directly to him.
Okay.
Knowing now that you've obviously got in, you've probably heard about some of the other merchant princes, he will go, I should probably just give you a brief rough down of some of the other merchant princes. And you will find Ikini, I believe that's how it's said, Ikini Afa, is the dealer of weapons, shields, and trading gear. Ifan Toloro is a man that deals more with the beasts in the area, so he will be the one that is more in charge of the buying and selling of anything that comes from the jungle that is still alive. Whether that be dinosaurs or monkeys. All the way across the range.
You're not having a monkey.
I don't want a monkey. I want to go.
Or go. Again,
Immense is Jobal, but obviously he'd sent you to Jobal anyway, so he just mentions that offhandedly.
Mm-hmm.
Koyothe is the one that deals mostly with rations and insect repellent. And the last two are Zanti. Realistically, Selu would have told you about that on the way through, so I'll let you know that previously. As you go past the jewel market before, he would have mentioned that Zanti is the purveyor of fine cloth, armor, and jewelry. And any gems tend to end up going through her one way or another. At the very end, he sort of quietly goes, there's also Jessamine, but I wouldn't worry too much about her. If you meet her, then something has gone more awry than it probably should have anyway. But yes, just a general rundown of anything you should need specifically. They are almost certainly the people to talk to.
Do any of your merchant princes here often need a hand for some that we could lend for some gold at all? Any items that we could gather while we're out in the jungle at all?
Wokonga gets something of a twinkle in his eye. And he says, there are probably jobs around, should you go looking for them. But if it's even more adventure that you're after, I could perhaps offer a certain incentive.
My eyes, they gleam. I'm just gonna look at him in interest.
Now that you're starting to talk business, he takes you from the main hallway into that side room where the pillows were. And sort of sits down with you. Not in a businessy manner, he's still in a very friendly and jovial mood.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly something's playing on his mind. And he says, this is a personal investment of mine. I was given a journal from the jungle some time ago. It describes the exploration of a wizard that sought to look around Jolt and find his own adventure, as you yourselves seem to. In this journal, Many of the pages are unfortunately ruined, and comes my quest. He had a traveling companion. A large armored friend, if you will. A shield guardian. He describes the shield guardian in detail and says that he has named it Vorn. Vorn. I would like possibly to find this shield guardian. As I said, I am a purveyor of artifacts and magical artifacts especially. This would be an incredible addition to my collection.
Could I roll on Arcana to see if I already do know about them from last campaign? Like how they control them?
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what you roll, it's going to be nothing.
Oh, everything
Yep,
about them.
you are familiar with the concept of a shield guardian?
And I'm going to ask him, does he have the control amulet for?
Ah, a learned friend. Unfortunately not. The only thing that was returned from the jungle when they found these items was simply this journal. The amulet is also out there. I should imagine not too far from Vorn, if he is there. But, unfortunately, I personally do not know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The book does contain an image of this amulet. But, again, I have no current whereabouts. I do have some reward for this, dependent on if you should bring it back. But obviously, this is a quest that I know is almost impossible a task. To find a single amulet and then the guardian it bears to in a jungle like Jolt. Well, that's beyond a big quest. But, again, should you find it on your travels and happen to bring it to me, I will reward you as best I can.
Mm-hmm.
But
problem.
it is getting late, and I am sure you're looking for somewhere to stay.
Indeed we are.
There are many inns in Port Nyanzaru, but if I was to note two in general, they are both in the Red Bazaar, which is helpful, which is the area you would know where the meat was all being cut up before.
Yeah, all the animals are being slaughtered and their blood drained down into the streets, man.
And again, a twinkle in his eye says, there is the Thundering Lizard. It caters to a more raucous clientele, although they are slightly cheaper.
Shut up, Dingo. Shut up, Dingo.
It is something a hotspot for late night games and fun, and sometimes less than fun. There have known to be a couple of brawls, but nothing that has got too out of hand. Alternatively, if you are looking for somewhere a little quieter, a little more restful, then there is Kaya's House of Repose. It is far, far quieter, and a place I would much prefer to stay, but they are slightly more expensive. And he will tell you that the Thundering Lizard is 5 silver per night.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Thundering Lizard is 5 silver per night. The House of Repose is 1 gold per night.
I mean, I'm down for sleeping anywhere. Like, I'm not too fussy. It's up to you guys.
Again, right now it is 8 p.m. So at this point, the sun is starting to go down with some gusto. It's not dark, but it is starting to get to the point where, in like an hour or two, you might want to have a torch out.
Yeah, realistically, we probably want to shoot on over anyway, just that we can make sure that we get some rooms.
I would not worry too much about space. We are a big town, but most of us are local, and most sailors tend to stay with their bunks in their ships. I would say that either has room, or at least I assume either has room, unless they are especially busy this time of year.
Well,
Okay.
I'm going to assume that Bingo has a...
Bingo has an idea where he wants to go, I know that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bingo's not getting
Yeah,
away
he does.
I think, yeah, if we've only got the one night here, why not have some fun?
The Thundering Lizard is his, then. He points out the general direction, like the general area it is. down in the Red Bazaar for you and says, as a sign of goodwill, I will take this night on me. And he will hand you each 5 silver for the Thundering Lizard.
Right. I'll.
What a guy.
I'm gonna
Should we
thank
just not
him.
bother putting it in the?
I wouldn't even bother. If you're going to just stay there, I wouldn't bother putting it in.
Okay.
If anyone does want to split off and go to the House of Repose, just mark 5 silver down instead of 1 gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, assuming you all want to go to the Thundering Lizard.
Yeah, walk
Yep.
outside and,
Yeah.
and inform our good friend Azaka, that we're going to go to the Thundering Lizard.
So Wokonga will see you out before, almost to the gate. Well, effectively to the gate. And says, it was good to meet you again. And I bid you well on your travels, but please be careful. The jungles are not to be trifled with. But at least for tonight, enjoy yourselves. And then let the work begin tomorrow. And he will wave off, and he will wander straight back in and into his house.
Walk in, lock doors, look out through the blind, see if we've got or not.
Peeking through like, are they there? I haven't left yet.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head on down to where he's described it is. Like I live here because fucking dude, maps and shit. I know, just like
I
a
just
dog
know maps, you
on
know?
account of having that feat.
It's gonna be a long night of stopping fights.
Like I live here, I make my way back.
This is going to be a long rest.
I would say that if we're walking into the Thundering Lizard, in terms of a general description, this is just going to be effectively your standard raucous tavern. There's a large bar at one end, seats and chairs and a sort of area for dancing in one place. Talking to the owner, he will happily offer you 4 rooms.
A room
And-
each.
Yeah, there are drinks at the bar. The rooms are up there for when you want them, and we will take this as a long rest till morning.
How much are the drinks?
Drinks at the bar.
Yep.
They're effectively the same as the Tej was, so it's 4 silver, I think it was, per drink.
Is there any food at the bar?
Yep, they can sell you a meal if you should want it.
Beach stew.
Yeah. I'll have some beet stew. Nah, there's probably not beet stew.
There is absolutely no beets stew. Far the wrong climate for beets.
I've had one of the drinks.
You having one of the drinks? That's 4 silver.
Yep.
No, I'm lying, it's 4 copper.
Bruh.
That one was on me, the other one was on you.
Can I ask for some goat's milk? Please.
Yep, that'll be 2 copper.
Jeez.
How much was the meal, sorry?
Meal, let's say, I don't know, a silver.
Silver, okay.
Yeah, and that is a reasonably hearty meal.
Yeah,
That is like a nice, fulfilling meal.
And how much did you say one of the... What's the other drinks? There's goat's milk and...
Goat's milk and then general ales and beers and things like that will be the same as the Tej at 4 copper.
I'll have the Tej. Fucking, that was pang.
I'll have a flagon of Tej and a meal.
Yep, 4 copper.
That's 4 copper and 1 silver.
And yeah, assuming that you all eat and drink your fill and return for the night to your rooms, which are pointed out to you by the
Got the most important
owner
thing.
when you take your keys,
Roll for
we will
taste.
cap it off
taste.
there.
Well, for tasty.
No,
It
we're
wasn't
not
great.
doing.
It wasn't
It was-
great.
It was actually pretty good.
The meal was subpar, but the Tej kept it on point.
How lumpy was my milk?
I'm good with my beer.
Basically sour.
Oh, my,
Beer's
beer
beer,
was,
Liam. You love beer.
my beer was pretty good. You're right, I should have rolled with advantage.
Yeah, Bingo and Dingo there just fucking enjoying life, drinking their Tej and beer, eating that.
Can we get inspiration every time we roll the same number?
No,
Damn it. I tried.
Looking back,
I'm not
man,
allowing it.
Anyone rolled a 6 so far.
No one has yet in this game rolled a 6. I've been trying to keep an eye out. I'm going to skim back through. So yeah, we will cap it off there. And we'll be here next time on Tomb of Annihilation.